Okay, so priming your mindset. This is huge, and like I mentioned earlier, I really can't emphasize how important this lesson is, and that's why it's the first lesson, because you need to get this right before working on anything else. So I've coached thousands of students, and I can say with confidence that the single biggest problem that I see is self-belief. They don't believe that they can achieve incredible grades, therefore they don't even try. And I relate so strongly with this because I used to be like that. I used to put self-limiting beliefs on myself. At high school, I averaged a 1.3 GPA because that's all I thought that I was capable of. I looked at high-performance students in my class and I just thought, well, yeah, they're smarter than me, so of course they're getting better grades than me. And I really can't explain how damaging this mindset is, how much it's actually holding you back. Because let me tell you this right now, the students that are getting the highest grades, they are prioritizing their studying. They are using the right study techniques, they have set strategic goals, they understand the Pareto principle, and their studying reflects that. It's not about how smart they are or how naturally talented they are, because I graduated with one of the highest grades in my class, but that's not because I'm particularly clever. My IQ, I mean, I've never been tested, but it's probably about average. There's nothing particularly special about me other than that I learned how to study smart and I primed my mindset to think like a high-performance student. And for me, it really started back in 2013. I traveled to Southeast Asia for 6 months. I went to Singapore, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and a few other countries. Now, at this point, I was still extremely unmotivated. You could say I was extremely lazy. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my life. I was still feeling down from being rejected from so many universities, and so I had saved up some money from a part-time job I had stacking shelves at a supermarket, so I went backpacking for 6 months. And to this day, to this very day, that one decision to quit my job, stacking shelves at a supermarket, and book a flight to Bangkok was the single best decision I've ever made in my life, because I learned so much. I learned so much about success, about failure, about how to turn failure into fuel, into extreme motivation. You see, on my trip to Southeast Asia, I met some extremely successful people from all walks of life: musicians, scientists, pilots, lawyers, business people, some of them driving Lamborghinis, one of them was driving a $1.5 million Koenigsegg, but they were successful not only in monetary terms, but they were genuinely happy, they were healthy, they surrounded themselves with people that genuinely love and care for them, and they were making a positive difference to so many people on a huge scale. And I mean, in my eyes at least, from the outside looking in, they were living the perfect life. And I would look at their lives and I would look at mine and I would compare their lives with mine and their successes with my failures, and talking to them, it struck me. It was like this massive eureka moment, and really where my transformation started. These people, these phenomenally successful people, they are exactly like me. They're human just like me, but the way they lived their lives were very different. They used their 24 hours wisely. They lived with intention. They worked smart. They had self-belief. They were incredibly ambitious. They did all of these things that I just didn't do. And so I would spend as much time as I could around them. I'd ask questions. I was incredibly curious how they managed to do it. How did they manage to achieve this incredible success? And that's really where my obsession started with how high-performance people became high-performance people, because I was genuinely in awe. These people, they're exactly like me. They're just like me. They're not superhuman. They're not naturally talented or naturally gifted necessarily, but they just lived their lives in a different way, in a way that was intentional and focused, and it resulted in massive success for them. And so at that moment, I was like, okay, so if these people can do it, if these guys can achieve massive success and have massive positive impact at scale, then there's nothing stopping me from achieving massive success and also having a massive positive impact on people around the world too. So there's really a few things that you can do to really prime and upgrade your mindset. The first thing, and I think for me anyway, this is the most effective way. There's a quote, and it's my favorite quote. You'll probably hear me say it quite a lot if you watch my YouTube channel. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And honestly, if I didn't meet all these successful people in Southeast Asia, would I have had that eureka moment? Would I have been able to grow my YouTube channel to be reaching millions of people every month? Would I be having the impact that I'm having right now? I'm not sure that I would, because That's really how powerful it is to surround yourself with other successful people. So for your case, it might be that you need to start working on networking and start spending time with students that are getting higher grades than you. And I mean, if you're at school and your 4 best friends are achieving pretty low grades and they don't really care about their studying, it's very likely that you'll be the 5th person. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and ditch all your friends that are getting worse grades than you. That's not what I'm talking about. But spending time with a couple more students that are getting higher grades than you, that can make a massive difference to your grades. And it's not just that, you can help them with their studying and they can help you, but naturally their work ethic and their study methods that they use and the way that they study, all these habits will rub off on you too and help pull you up. Another way to upgrade your mindset is to upgrade your network digitally. So let me ask you this, if you watch TV, what are the 5 TV shows that you spend the most time watching? Or if you don't watch TV and you spend your time more on YouTube, who are the 5 YouTubers you spend the most time watching? So what type of content are you consuming? Is it content that is educational, that is inspiring, that is making you more knowledgeable and helping you with your personal development? Or is it what I call dead content, like watching the Kardashians on TV or watching cat videos on YouTube? Because this is super important. Back in 2013 and even to this day, the vast majority of the content that I consume are of world-renowned psychologists, successful business owners, real estate moguls, high-performance athletes. They teach different things and communicate different messages, but one thing is common among all of them. They all have a high-performance mindset. And so by watching them, by listening to them, in my subconscious mind, high performance is becoming a normal thing. It's becoming a normal way of life. I'm being exposed to these high performance mindsets on a daily basis, and so their way of thinking slowly starts rubbing off on me too. For example, after I wake up, I'd shower while listening to Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life audiobook. While having breakfast, I'd watch a documentary on Netflix. On my commute to university, it was usually around 40 minutes depending on the traffic, so I'd listen to a Gary Vaynerchuk podcast. So throughout the day, I'd be constantly learning and growing without even really having to think about it. And to this day, 7 or 8 years later, I still live my life like that. It's a fun way of learning. Learning doesn't have to be about reading thick, heavy textbooks, but if you start watching or listening or reading educational content that you like the subject of, like psychology, business, personal development, health and fitness, whatever it is, then you're learning. But it's like a seamless way of learning. It's a very easy way of learning. And I think that that right there is absolutely massive when it comes to comparing what you might call average students with high performance students. The high performance student is constantly learning, not always just learning about the subject material or what they're going to be tested in their exam, but also how to learn effectively. So how to study smart, and also other areas that they might be interested in that might be completely unrelated to their formal education. And what I like about this way of learning is that sometimes I want to learn about business, so I learn about business. Then the next day I might want to learn about health and fitness, so I learn about health and fitness. I like it because it never gets boring. It's not like studying a course at university where you have a set curriculum that you have to kind of stick to. And that's the difference between informal learning and formal learning. Informal learning is more flexible, so it never gets boring because you can keep switching it up. This is a massive part of having a high performance mindset. I don't think you'll ever meet a high performance person that completely stops learning. All high performance people are constantly learning and growing well after their formal education at school or when their university ends. So by consuming content like this and being exposed to high performance people, you start to believe in yourself too. It increases your self-esteem. It inspires you. I remember reading a book back in 2014 or 2015, I don't remember exactly, but it was Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, Total Recall. And honestly, the things he has achieved in his life, even to this day, like 7 years on, the book still inspires me. I mean, everything that he put his mind to, he often became phenomenally successful in whatever it was. So for example, in the bodybuilding industry, he won Mr. Olympia 7 times. He became a hugely successful actor. He was massively successful in real estate, and he served as the governor of California from 2003 to 2011. And it's like, well, if this guy can achieve crazy success in all of these areas in life, then surely I can get a 4.0 GPA in my exams, right? I mean, in comparison, it's not that hard to get good grades compared to what he has achieved achieved in his life. So really this lesson is all about self-belief. You need to believe that you can achieve incredible grades and boost your studying to the next level. It all starts with whether you actually believe it or not. You need the inspiration, and a lot of that comes from your network, whether it's your physical network, so your parents, your teachers, your classmates, your friends or whatever, or whether it's your digital network, so the books you read, the YouTube videos that you watch, the podcasts that you listen to. I see inspiration almost like water in a bucket with a small hole in it. You need to keep that bucket topped up because it's natural for our inspiration to decrease gradually if we don't work on it. It's like if you go to the gym for 1 year, then you stop going to the gym for 1 year, you're going to lose that muscle, right? The muscle that you worked so hard for over 1 year, the second year when you stop going to the gym, you're going to lose it. So you need to continue going to the gym to stay healthy. It's the same way with inspiration. If the inspiration is the water in your bucket with a hole in it, you need to keep it topped up to stay motivated and to stay driven. And that's why you've really got to be aware of the people that you spend the most time with and also the content that you consume. Because priming your mindset is the foundation for the rest of this course. Once you have primed your mindset and you really believe in yourself and you're surrounded with people that are positive and encourage you, whether it's physically in your life or digitally, we can then work on the next steps to leveling up your grades. And if you have any questions about this lesson, anything at all, just let me know below. I'll do my best to answer them all.